It costs to be the boss. It costs to be the boss. This is a fact. This is an absolute fact that it's hard for workers to comprehend. Mind you, I was a worker my whole life. I was a worker from the time I was 8 years old up into the time I turned 31, 32 years old. All right. I was in the restaurant business for a long time before I got my bar. This is a fact. All right. I dishwashed, I cooked, I waitered, I bartended, I did it all. I did it all. And I remember working at Buddy's Pizza, right? And it's owned by the people who fired Nick Cannon. Buddy's Pizza in Detroit is owned by the people who fired Nick Cannon. And I used to be like, and this place used to be so busy, right? They literally would hire someone just to cut the pizzas. You'd have a guy making the pizza, right? And then you would have a guy, first you'd have three people just doing the dough, right? Then you'd have a guy just putting the toppings on it. Then a guy putting the sauce on it, literally just the sauce. A guy putting the toppings, and a guy just cutting the pizza. This was his job all day long. This was my job, just cutting the pizza. Two guys putting the sauce and the toppings. All right, vroom, 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 vroom. All right, and I'm sitting there making $8 an hour. This is like 15, 20 years ago, making $8 an hour, and I'm like, man, these guys be killing it, man. They making so much money. All right, and I'll be getting mad. Like. This is not fair. This is not fair. I need to make more money, which I probably did deserve to make more money. But the way I looked at it was like, this is like not fair. Like, this is like, I should be getting like 40, $50 an hour, the amount of money they're making. Because I didn't understand. I didn't get it. I didn't understand business. I didn't understand what goes on the back ends, what you actually have to pay, and all this stuff and all that, and that, until you become a owner, until you become a boss, all right, and then you realize really what's going on. You realize that like look what happened now with this COVID, right? If you didn't know, there's a pandemic going on, right? There's a pandemic going on, so that. We got to take money out of our pockets to keep the business afloat because the government decided we're not allowed to run our business the way like we want to, all right? Carry outs only, and then half capacity, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. You have a shooting at the bar, and then, you lose 50% of your business overnight, all right? And it's like, this is what employees don't understand, They continue to get the money they get for the job that they do. But they don't have any of the risk. Their risk is, well, they might lose their job, but they can always get another job. Our risk is you might lose your business, and then you lose everything, and then you go in debt, and you're living a certain type of lifestyle depending on what you're doing. And I always disagree with that. I don't think you should live outside of your means. So that's always a thing. But, you can lose everything, and then you're right back after everything you've invested, everything you've done, and this and that, and you're right back to just being another worker, bro. Being a worker, it takes a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress as well. It's a lot of stress. It's not just the physical aspect of it, it's the mental aspect. And as a worker, you don't understand that. I didn't understand it. You do not understand the mental part of being an owner, having that business on your mind 24/7, where it never leaves your mind, no matter what you're doing, no matter what's happening. All right, it's always in the back of your mind, what's happening over there, what's going on for the next day and the next day and tomorrow and tomorrow. It's never, as a worker, you don't care. You come in, you clock out. When you're clocked out, you don't care. You don't give a damn about what's going on in that business. All right, trust me, I know. So that leads me to ARP responding to Daylyt and responding to Matt Hoffa, talking about, well, they coming out with, well, these guys, they're robbing us because, I'm paraphrasing, but not, all this work we put in, and they're collecting all this YouTube money and all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I upload a blog, and I'm making $1,500 or whatever he said he's making, uploading 5 blogs or this and that, and imagine what these guys are making and da 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 da. And it's like, bro, first of all, I don't like people who cry afterwards, right? I don't like people who sign contracts then cry afterwards, okay? And I'm not saying Daylyt's crying. I'm not even saying he's wrong, all right? It's just the fact that, look, bro, you signed a contract, you knew what it was, and, playing dumb or I was young. Hey, bro, business is business, bro, and I get that some people are taking advantage of and this and that, but, the past is the past. You got to look forward. Now, ARP brings up so many good points about, he's offered these battlers the chance to make their money instead of making it up front, Let's split the YouTube revenue when it comes in. Let's do this. Let's do that. You can actually own it in perpetuity. I won't give you a upfront money, but we'll split the YouTube money or whatever on this and that, right? And every single time, what do these battlers say? No. So, and he said he's actually talked about it with Daylyt. He's talked about it with Mook and this and that. And they're always taking that upfront money to give up that back end. And now it's like, now you guys want to complain after it's been offered to you in the past and this and that, talking about this and that. And you guys are really talking about money. Like, as far as YouTube money goes, like, bro, I mean, it is what it is. And some of these battles don't generate views. And even like you're talking about 500,000 views. What does that really generate for you? And that's over a long period of time. It doesn't happen right away. And especially with this whole demonetization, I don't know how monetized these battles are anyway, but let's assume they're fully monetized, right? 500,000 views over like 3, 4, 5 year span is not that much money, bro. And all the money that they put into it. And another great point that people love to forget is that if we're going to pay the battlers what they're actually worth, then 90% of the battlers aren't going to make anything. They're literally not going to make nothing. All right? How much you think Show Off's going to make, if we're going to go off if we're just going to go off strictly views now and residuals? He's not going to make anything, bro. All right, even Daylyt, he's not gonna make as much money as he is getting that upfront money. It costs to be the boss. I've encouraged a lot of these battlers to do it their own, open up their own leagues, do everything themselves, and collect all the money. They can easily do it. All you got to do is hire a camera team. When Avocado was like more available. I mean, he's available, but more now than he ever was. But when he was less canceled, I guess. All right. But hey, business is business, bro. And then I don't know. Business is business. All right. So it's like, that's a whole nother subject. So, and we've seen battlers try this on their own before. You got your Hollow and Danny try to do their little thing that I don't even know. They were going to do that for charity. I don't even know what happened with that. That ended up getting on the app anyways. Disaster did that battle against Chase Moore or Chase Banks, whatever his name is, the little guy, and we, I don't even think that battle ever hit YouTube. I paid for that battle. It was like $10. I don't even think that battle ever got on YouTube, because he wasn't happy with it or whatever happened with it, or he didn't win or didn't lose. I don't even remember, man. I only watched that once. I paid for it. How do I go back and rewatch that? I want to rewatch that. I paid for it. Like, I've only watched it once, and I paid $10 for it. But, we've seen other battlers move on to other leagues, Arsenal, and this like that, UW, and this and that. And it caught, bro. And it's like you flying all these other, like, imagine the low level guys. You flying the low level guys, and you giving them, like ARP said, you're giving them hotels. You're putting them here for flights and this and that. And I bet you most of these battles they lose money on. And they hope to make a little bit of money on the back end of the bigger battlers. And it's like, now you're like, well, I want my money up front, and I want residuals, and I want this, and I want that. But then you do it, bro. You go do it. You be the league. You hire the cameraman. You put it up on your channel. You do this. You do that. All right? Like, I mean, Math is technically doing that now with these Legends Never Die series. He put up him and Method Man, and look, it was trending on YouTube. All right, it was like I think it peaked at 7, trending on YouTube. That's pretty good. I don't know what he's making. I don't know where it's at now. I mean, maybe I'm sure it's going to be hitting 1 million soon. But even 1 million views, bro, it's like, that's some money, but it's not like game changing money on YouTube. 1 million viewed battle isn't game changing, like going to change your life or even give you like even going to be that much. Like 1 million views is like, I don't know what these guys actually think, like. And I understand it, but y'all just gonna be talking instead of actually doing. If it's true that Daylyt was offered by ARP to take the money from the residuals of the YouTube or the views or whatever, and instead of taking the money up front, and he's turned it down, he has no right to talk. I'm sorry. Like, him and his whole 100 million views with Tay-Rock, that was a troll. Obviously, a lot of people in the community fell for it, which was insane to me. But you didn't get no 100 million views. Now, I will say this. That's where it comes. This is where we're talking about ARP and RBE, and we're talking about URL pre-caffeine, king of the dot, pre-Twitch. URL pre-caffeine, king of the dot, pre-Twitch. Here's the thing. Now that they've made these deals with these corporations and the people who fired Nick Cannon, all right, now I don't know it's a whole different ball game now. It's a whole different ball game. The streaming wars has begun. It's a whole different world. We're different. We're dealing with new entities here. So I'm not even talking about when we're dealing with these companies moving forward. Because here's the thing: we don't know the deals that they made because they're private deals. These are as far as caffeine goes. Even though they have been funded by Fox, they are technically a private company funded by a public company. So they can still, that's the way around it, where they can still keep what they're doing private. They don't have to show how much money they're making or losing because they're not a public company, even though they're funded by public companies. That's the difference here. This is like a little baby project Fox and them are doing, all right? And Amazon, but with Amazon actually bought Twitch. So that's kind of a different thing. Amazon didn't just invest in Twitch. They kind of like own it. So, you know, and King of the Dot did say that it was a partnership, that they partnered with Twitch to do what they're doing, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and it is what it is. And the battle rappers, I suggest you guys get, you guys should have a manager, you should have an attorney if you're really concerned, and I think you should be. This is your livelihood, this is what you do, and then you have them deal with the business so you can stay as the artist. All right, but if all these battle rappers think they're just gonna turn into businessmen, and it seems to always get money. Not saying it can't happen, all right, but it takes a special kind of guy to be a boss. All right, not everybody is capable of being a boss. I'm sorry, I don't want to be mean to certain people, but it's just true. It's human nature. I have a cousin right now. He's not a boss. He's a worker. He will always be a worker. He's been given the opportunity to be a boss, and he turned it down. He doesn't want that responsibility. He doesn't want that stress. He doesn't want that headache. And that's the pros of not being a boss is you don't have to worry about certain things. But the cons is you're limited on what you can make. You're limited on what you can make. And as far as I'm concerned, these battle rappers, they're independent contractors. They're limited on what they can make. All right, this isn't the music industry. Now, again, I'm talking pre-caffeine, pre-Twitch. All right, I don't know what to tell you anymore. We need more evidence, like about what's going on. Remember, I was screaming about URL losing control of their company to caffeine. All right, and nobody paid me any attention, but people started paying attention when they couldn't hire Avo as their director. When that came about, see, anybody could just say anything like me. I could just say whatever. I can have theories, hypotheticals, and this and that. But all right, and it's not going to gain much traction. But when actual events surrounding the company come into play, and we start seeing things like, well, Avo saying, URL tried to keep me on board, but they couldn't, even though they wanted to. That shows that they've lost creative control of their product. All right, that's a fact. You can't deny that, and URL didn't deny that. So that's how we can, that's the only way we can decipher what's going on now. What's really going on now? We don't know what's really happening. So it's all up to these battle rappers, and that's the thing. These guys don't want to spend money on themselves. And I'm not saying all, but a lot of these guys, look at Twerk. He didn't even have health insurance. Why? He has no excuse not to have health insurance. I'm sorry. He should have health insurance. He should have life insurance. All right, you gotta spend some money on yourself. We can't just spend money on vices. That's what most of these battle rappers do. They just spend money on all their vices. All right, and to hell with everything else that's actually important. All right, if you stop spending money on all your vices and actually put it in your health insurance, in your life insurance, in a lawyer, in a manager, and this and that, then you will start to actually grow as an entity, as a thing. Not just I'm an independent contractor, like you're a freaking janitor. I need a janitor. I call a janitor to come. All right, I pay him and he leaves. All right, these leagues, they need a rapper. They come, they pay him and he leaves, bro. And it's like you got to start investing in yourself. So you need lawyers, you need managers, you need this and that if you really want to take this serious and to the next level and protect yourself. All right, but you also got to be. You got to be realistic, is what I'm saying, with what you're bringing in. All right, a lot of these battle rappers don't bring nothing in. They just don't, man. That's just the facts, bro. URL can upload a lot of these battlers on their YouTube channel, and they barely crack 50, 60,000 views, bro. 50, 60,000 views, and they might be getting, the URL might be paying them $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to do these battles and to bring them in and to do the production and the taping and all this and that. And trust me, they're losing money on a lot of these battles, but they're making money. They're making money now. Again, all of this is pre-caffeine, pre-Twitch. It's a new ball game now, but it doesn't equate to AARP. AARP is still 100% independent, black-owned business. All right, and he was speaking on how he goes about it, and he said he has offered these companies, I mean these battlers, no up money up front. Let's do business together. You get your money on the back end when the money starts rolling in, and every single time, every battler says no. They say no. So you can't sit there, say no, and then complain and complain, and then start painting these narratives. You like to paint these narratives, bro. That's my opinion. All right, the opinion of a boss. Trust me, I understand why workers look at it the wrong way, because I looked at it the wrong way my entire life. I did. But when you put your own money into something, you invest your own money, you take all the risk, you do all this and that. It's different. It's different. Love you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. All right. Peace.